Okay. Good morning, everyone. Guys are there. All right. This video gets recorded. Why? We need to this is a process training. Basically, we going to concludes. And this video covers for intern to senior section. So this basically has all the content. It's not just like demonstration. It's just like crash course. So I'm just I need to speed up because I need to finish complete within 15 20 minutes time. All right. So we talk about DAR. It's basically decision resolution and analysis. All right. So basically, every decision, whether it is in a home or office, is simply in a choice between options. All right. So if you take a decision, all right, there has to be multiple solutions, or multiple alternatives, or multiple options that you need select. So I give you an example in day-to-day life. Getting a dress for a wedding. Okay. So you have fundamentals. You have to agree to basics requirement, like good looking, and it goes with event. Match with accessories already have, and goes with the function, right? So these are the fundamentals when you are taking a decision. So and then consider alternative options. What options do you have? Either you buy from a shop, clothes shop, or maybe you do it yourself, or else you give it tailor with your own size, which on. However, you have to understand what is important for you. Whether the dress you are looking at the price, or just looking at the appearance that you get it. That's basically decision that you take. It's depend on what you need and what you want. All right. All right. We tend to make decisions. All right, on our heads, on the fly, based on our experience and knowledge. All right. People like William Udalali, so they basically take decisions on their head. So some people like John Keel, they do analysis, all right. With their skill, they take decisions. However, if we didn't, we would never survive. So we need to take decisions, down the line, right? So, however, there are several issues associated with making decisions on the fly, right? So basically, people forget things. Okay, they leave company, right? And the data will be lost, and there will be no traceability issue. So would you become to the same conclusion if you just on the fly, you just thinking of it? If you're not thinking in alternatives, so you will have you might have some problem. So, however, both consequences have to the project or the business. Right? So definition by the book. All right. So there are key terms that you will understand on this process. The purpose of decision analysis and resolution is to analyze possible decisions. Analyze possible decisions using a formal evaluation process that evaluates identified alternatives against established criteria. Right? Mark this word. In other words, a process to make a key decision in your organization more objectively and wisely. Basically, if you're just looking at CMI at glance, all right, in a nutshell. So we're looking at organizational performances, all right. So to have these organizational performances, you need to have those criteria, like establishing the terms like alternatives, establishing criteria like that. All right. So I'm just jump into the DAR process. All right. Do we really need to follow DAR every decision? All right. So that is you need to think of. All right. Are alternatives considered to be medium or high risk? So you have to think of when you're taking a decision. Right? And alternatives related to change your products and under configuration management. If you do so, right, you have to think whether that you put it into DAR or make it take maybe at sprint decisions whether that you need to go for DAR or not. Right? Maybe you have to select based on time, right? Or maybe there's big solution that you have to go, so consider the time, right? Or maybe the cost, right? If you're just looking at the cost, or maybe the project objectives, right? Is the cost of conducting formal evaluation reasonably compared to potential impact? So if we just try to do a DAR and it takes a long time, that has major impact to the evaluation itself, right? So there will be a problem. Just think you have whether you need to go for the DAR or not. All right. I'll just go through project process flow chart. So basically, you have to identify alternatives. Alternatives means that you have to identify your choices, right? And then identify a selection criteria. Now, selection criteria is like based on what that you are taking decision, right? And then assign weight, all right? And then select best alternative and capture result in archive. So then basically you have to. This is the process flow that you need to one by one you need to go through and get it done. Okay. Procedures and method used in DAR. All right. Solution identification. How do you identify a solution? You can do brainstorming. Okay. Expertise advice, solution solicitations, market research, computer analysis, customer feedback. These are the things that you need. You can find what are the solutions that you are proposing, or just what are the solutions, what are the choices that you're going through. So solution identify. Mark that word. Okay. Alternative solution. They provide more accurate and comprehensive information about the solution. All right. So if we have choice 1, look at choice 2. Okay. And then must identify and analyze the enable the selection of balanced solutions across the life of the product in terms of schedule and technical performance. So basically, I just has these big terms because it has to someone has to be self studied and identified. Product requirements are received, are used along with the design issues, constraint, and criteria to develop the alternative solution. So alternative solution is just multiple choice that you have. You are selecting. Okay. Evaluation criteria. This is very important piece. This is where Manjula or maybe section head taking a decision. Why you need a solution and why you need how you need a solution. What you are looking at. This is just like looking at getting a dress, whether that you are looking at the price or looking at the appearance. Just like that, there are typical certain elements that you are addressing. These are like cost, benefits, capabilities, right? So how do you measure it? Time, people, money, the cost, right? Likewise. So typical evaluation criteria these are the typical evaluation criteria. So you're looking at cost, schedule, risk, performance, as if you're looking at reliability, okay? Maybe it is about availability. So these are the basic needs that you need. So we just put this into evaluation criteria. So these evaluation criteria you need to prioritize. What is most important? The performances or the cost? All right, or the appearance, or the price. Okay, so you need to put a weight. All right, this weight tag is priority. Okay, I will explain in the next slides what is this weight. So here evaluation criteria. Basically, it is evaluation criteria has a weight. Okay, cost of the solution. If we just looking at the cost, all right, you just give high priority for it. So you just put higher value based on number of criteria do you have. So benefits and effectiveness of the solution. The benefits is second priority. Technical risk is your third priority. Scalability is your the last and the least priority. All right. So this is how you just before selecting alternatives. This you need to prioritize or give a weight to those evaluation criteria. So evaluation method. There are many methods that people use tend to evaluate. Just like looking at the proposal. People like us, we just getting hardware. We just talk to vendors and get the proposal. We talk to different vendors. HP, Dell. We just get the proposal and do it. Sometimes you have to do grid analysis. So sometimes you have to do open discussions. Okay. So how you do open discussions, like you talk to some people, all right, or maybe you talk to some experts, and you take decisions. So this is the evaluation method that we need to highlight. All right. Now this is the important part in this the DAR process. We are selecting the evaluation the alternative solution. So here you have solution. All right. So this is typically a solution for developing a software, right? So solution can be develop that particular software you outsource, or you do buy, or just you build in house, build in house. Oh, and you can do evaluation method like you just do proposal review. You talk to couple of outsource people, and if you're buying or just you do proposal review, okay, and build in house cost benefit analysis. So if you just one or two architects get together and then see whether it is feasible to do it in house. So you can have multiple evaluation method for each and every solution. Alright, this is the very important part that you need to. You don't need all the evaluation method has to be same identical. Okay, can be vary, and you give them a cost. Where this is we are looking at criteria. Here we are looking at criteria like cost, benefits, risk, scalability, and total cost. So basically, how you calculate this? Okay, now if you just talk to outsourcing, and if you see, alright, the number 3 is there. Alright, you just discuss with your DAR process owners and DAR team members. Okay, they discuss and give a value. Discuss what is the cost benefit that you have, whether that outsourcing has low cost. Alright, so then you let's say outsourcing has high cost. So you just give low value to that. Okay, so here in this criteria, so doing it in house is a high priority, maybe high value to the solution, right? Here from the benefit out of it, so outsourcing has more benefits, so you just give high marks. Okay, so if you take a risk, so here you have low risk. Alright, so when you have low risk, you just give high marks. The scalability is the same thing. So how you do the scoring is that you just multiply the weight versus the total cost. Here multiply the weight versus the ranking. So you have ranking like this is fourth, this is third, this is fifth. So this is the value that you get. Alright. So the highest value you get will be final solution. Alright. The highest total score shall be selected, and in case the tie between the multiple solution, the highest ranking solution will be selected. Right? So create DAR worksheet. When you are creating the DAR worksheet, you have 4 sections: planning, identify alternative and evaluation criteria, evaluation alternatives, recommendation and selection. So you need complete those 4 areas. I will go give you a sample worksheet to go through it. So recap. So basically, every decision is simply a choice between options. Alright? So always identify alternatives. Okay? Select the best solution based on the evaluation criteria and weight. Okay? And not practical, use DAR, just don't use DAR. Very simple. Alright? Use DAR worksheet. I will explain that later, in a while. Okay? And you need to record the analysis, conclusion and recommendation. Okay? Project leads to ensure all the project team capture all the major options, decisions. Project history has to be there. The analysis what that was performed needs to be documented. Here we have this is the example sheet. Alright. So so you have planning section. You give solution project lead. So you can give this is example solution of SIEM, security information and event management. This is a solution I have done using DAR. So basically you put a lead name, John Lennon, and the email address. DAR plan approver, maybe someone else, or maybe maybe Manju will do the approvals, and the start date, end date, DAR completion date you need to put. Scope of the DAR, decisions to be taken. You need to give the decision, what the decisions come out from this worksheet. So it is a solution for ABC corporate office. So this is the main requirement. Impact of the decision. So impact of the decision is that security audit will fail if we do not have this SIEM in your organization. Your security audit is going to get failed. Okay. So just look at how you you are introducing a solution, look at solution impact. I mean, if you do not have that solution in place, so what is the impact? Okay. And list your limits, DAR limits. Here, lack of expertise on the topic, business choices. If there are DAR limits, like if you don't have expertise, or maybe business taking or overriding the decision. So those are the decisions. If the business says, the manager says, now we have to just go with alternative one, or go with an alternative instead of taking DAR into consideration. So those are the limits. So justification for using DAR. There are many solution options available. So why you need to use DAR? There are many options is there, so then you better use it. Alright, and then you need to give the decision participant activities 1.16. So you have to give their names, PM, DO, DP, DP. PM is the project manager, okay. DO is decision owner. DP is decision participant. These are basically users who contribute to the decisions. These abbreviations are in my guidelines. Okay, I'll give you the guidelines. I'll give you the look and feel of the guidelines. All right, and then you have to define activities. What activities you do? Basically, you need to who's identifying alternatives, who's setting up the evaluation criteria and method, and who's looking at evaluation of alternatives. So basically, you need to put the abbreviation here, and then there you need to define the role. The roles and responsibilities depend on the solution that you are going to discuss. Okay, here the example you have the identify alternatives. You have to ensure that project team capture decisions. Alright. The evaluation of alternatives, make sure to review, audit, test, gather the evaluation method. So that is their role and responsibilities. Alright. The next section is section number 2. Identify alternative within evaluation criteria. So you have to select one of these evaluation methods. So here I use grid analysis. Okay. If you have multiple evaluation method, or you just take the relevant the option that you have, right? If we have evaluation method other than listed here, click this one and name it, comment it what evaluation method that you are going to build. All right. So if you want to introduce a new tool or technology required to get this done. Alright, you need a tool. For me, this example, no. Okay. Alternatives generated by how? Literature search, stakeholder solicitation, alright, brainstorming session, or maybe other. Here in this example, you can have, I just selected multiple, alright. If that decision, the alternative generated by is not here, so just put other and name the how you derive that alternate. Okay. Then your solution. What are the options do you have? Okay. Commercial product. So you just use your product what you're going to use. Here the example manage engine event log analyze. Right. Solution 2, or maybe alternative 2. Open source product, Elasticsearch, free version. Or the third option is alternative is in-house development consideration. All right. So far, do you have any concern that I'm going too far, too fast, right? But these guidelines, the presentations are self-explanatory, so you can review later. All right. Then the evaluation criteria. So what you are looking at the solution here, I'm just looking at the solution. I need the performances. So I need to give the high priority for it, and then I'm just looking at maintainability. All right. Risk is my lowest, so I'm just put it as weight in the third. Okay. So my priorities with the performances. Okay. 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 The third section is the evaluation of alternatives. So alternative is you just give 1, 2, 3, the numbers that I have given there. Here, 1, 2, 3. Just look in this. Sorry, here 1, 2, 3. This point. All right. So then evaluation method, I'm just looking at proposal review, and the alternative review, I'm just looking at install and evaluate and see. Okay, and to evaluate the third one, I use in-house architects computation, how they calculate the risk, or maybe the performances, or maybe the anything that I have considers as evaluation criteria. Okay. Then I just give criteria 1, criteria 2, criteria 3. So you can rename this with your criteria. If you just select risk as your criteria, take this off and put risk. If you're just looking at performance, take this off and put performance. So here I just in the performance review. Okay, so all participants get together and they discuss what option to give more performances. So here we rank as 4, and the third, and this is we just give weight. You can rank is like 1 to 5. Okay, you just give 1 mark to the low performances solution, the high marks to the solution that you just prefer, discuss, the team discussed. Okay, so then you give the points, right? So then the score is just like taking from your evaluation criteria and then the ranking. So these are the values. All right. This is not This is not technical, right? All right. Now, based on this, my solution is number 1. All right. It's not my decision. Okay, I did not select on the fly. It is the information gathered, and then they decide what is the value. This is basically from mathematical calculation. All right. So the evaluation alternative. So you have to give the documentation for this decision. So you have to gather how from proposal reviews, grid analysis, or future comparison, simulations, testings, or anything else. You just highlight that as well. The last option. Yes. Recommendation and selection. All right. So I recommend based on the output. So my solution is number 1. It is not your decision; it's a collective decision, right? So it is number 1. Rationale for your selection, evaluation results. So how you derive the this information, decide this alternative solution, evaluation results. All right. Then you need to list non-risk. Okay. While evaluating the alternative solution, you need to highlight those risks which is compulsory. All right, and then risk to be tracked and mitigated. So that will take care of from risk management process. So what are the risks I have? AMC cost can go high and impact on ROI. So you need to figure out how you do it. So product discontinuing. If you just select commercial product, so you need to. What if the commercial provider discontinue the product or discontinue the product? So you need to highlight it from the risk side. You need to address it and mitigate. Track and mitigate. Assumption made. Investment costs will tolerated by the business. Right? Assumption made. Now, when you're just putting into, when you're discussing this, DAR process, with the team, so the cost will high, but it might, business take a decision. Okay, we'll, take, decision of cost decision, right? I guess, okay, lesson you learn and do's and don't. So you need to list, whatever, came into the, while doing the, process, evaluation. So you need to put that. Selection by 2 p.m. and approved by Manjul Jasing here and then the address. So this is the sheet that you need to, fill. All right. Okay. Keep it simple. All right. This is for everything. Not for software industry. It may be from taking HR decision, taking IT decision, taking administrative decision. All right. So detail you have here at on Confluent. So basically, it has all the information. This I made this guidelines with example. So it has everything you want. All right, everything we want, and what is who's DO, decision owner, likewise process initiations, everything is there, right? I involve if you're just going to if you want add anything, right? Or if you can't if there's if you have any concern on taking a decision or taking DAR in consideration, so you can consult me, all right? You can't go, you can just play around with given criteria with your own. You take if, let's say example if you don't have evaluation method here, so you can come and discuss with me, all right? So you might have multiple worksheets, okay, based on your solution or requirement, all right? I don't think I left in any R&Q Q&As. You can talk to me at any time. Right? Thank you very much.